why choose a native tongue English teacher? I suggest this if possible. If not, it's not the end of the world. I know lots of very good non-native tongue English teachers, but I believe it's better going to the source. Research has shown that the main advantage of native teachers is evidently to be found in their superior linguistic and communicative competence of the language, since it is their mother tongue and they can use it with greater spontaneity and naturalness in a considerable variety of situations. On the other hand, non-native tongue teachers usually display a poorer competence acquired through study and effort, which disallows spontaneity. In addition, they normally experience problems with pronunciation, colloquial expressions, particularly slang, and certain types of vocabulary. Their linguistic competence is usually a little outdated and very much influenced by textbook language, which is then later taught as their linguistic model. Non-native tongue teachers tend to be good at teaching grammar, as they have studied it in depth and can give detailed explanations as to why. Natives study English at school every day and should grow up speaking proper English and know which is the correct way to talk, but not always why. In my Portuguese language studies, I have in some circumstances stopped asking why and just learned which is the correct form. I find this easier and a far more efficient use of my valuable study time, not having to comprehend then remember a rule that seldom applies. Portuguese is complicated. Fortunately for you, English grammar isn't. This is one of the reasons it's so popular and widespread. Natives provide students with more cultural insights and is used by students as a rich source of cultural information. The native teacher has a greater capacity, has practiced since childhood, has better pronunciation, provides better explanations, knows more vocabulary and spelling rules because it is their language. One student remarked to me that you'll always learn more if your teacher is a native. You can't teach an English class in Spanish. Natives are better teachers because they master the language they teach, have a profound knowledge of it, are more comfortable with the language, and have greater self-confidence, all of which exerts a massive influence on the results. It can be said that the bigger issue is not being native or non-native, but knowing how to teach the language, how to explain it, and how to make it enjoyable. This is why it's so important to make sure that your native tongue English teacher is qualified in TESOL. TESOL is an acronym for Teach English to Speakers of Other Languages. TESOL teachers are taught, trained, prepared properly how to teach to non-native students in the most effective way, using the world's most advanced techniques and technologies. We often go on to join professional associations such as TESOL International, of which I am a member. In 2009, I studied in London and was awarded the TESOL certificate and the teaching practice certificate as well. Then later on, I studied for and was awarded the advanced certificate in teaching business English and the certificate in IELTS for teachers, both again from the UK. But don't let diplomas fool you, as they can look and sound impressive. I knew a supposed teacher that had 3 degrees in language but couldn't teach. So also look for experience in your native tongue teacher. Again, as in my case, I'm in my 10th year of teaching English to speakers of other languages, and I love it. So much of what a teacher learns comes from experience. Experience is a great teacher. I'm very fortunate to have worked in some fine institutions that demanded a high standard from their teachers. As mentioned, I study the language of Portuguese, so I'm familiar with the language learner's process from the perspective of a language student. I know fully what it is like to learn another language, so I'm familiar with the mistakes often made and sensitive to the difficulties a language learner experiences. I'm more acquainted with the foreign language learning process and have first-hand experience in learning and using a foreign language. It's also worthy to note that parental and employer preferences are for a native tongue teacher. I wouldn't have an Englishman teach me Portuguese. Please visit my website, link below, and let me help you talk like a native. Until next week, take care.